The moment I put on my white wedding dress, I thought I was marrying the love of my life. But 6 hours later, I was standing in a hotel hallway in my bare feet, pressing my ear against a door, and praying that what I was hearing wasn't real. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Margaret, but everyone calls me Maggie. I was 46 years old when I finally decided to get married for the first time. Yes, I know that sounds late. But I had spent my 20s building a career as a real estate agent, my 30s taking care of my aging mother until she passed, and my 40s wondering if I had missed my chance at love. Then I met David at a charity gala. He was 52, divorced, with 2 grown children who lived in another state. He was charming, thoughtful, and made me feel like I was the only woman in the room. He brought me coffee every morning. He remembered my birthday. He told me I was beautiful when I wasn't wearing any makeup. We dated for 2 years before he proposed. He got down on one knee at that same restaurant where we had our first date. I cried. I said yes. I thought my life was finally coming together. David owned a small accounting firm. Nothing fancy, but he was comfortable. I had my own savings, my own house, my own car. We decided to sell my house and move into his because it was bigger. I didn't think much of it at the time. I was just so happy. The wedding was small. Just 40 people. My best friend Linda was my maid of honor. David's brother Mark was his best man. We had white roses, string lights, and a 3-tier cake with buttercream frosting. It was beautiful. David looked handsome in his gray suit. He smiled at me when I walked down the aisle. He said, "You look perfect." I believed him. The wedding ended around 9 in the evening. We said goodbye to our guests, collected our gifts, and drove to the hotel. It was a nice place. Not the fanciest in the city, but David had booked the honeymoon suite. There were rose petals on the bed and a bottle of champagne chilling in a bucket. I was tired but happy. My feet hurt from the heels. My cheeks hurt from smiling. I kicked off my shoes and sat on the edge of the bed, looking at David as he walked around the room, checking his phone. "You're always on that thing," I said, laughing. He didn't laugh back. "Just checking on something for work. I'll be right back." I watched him walk toward the door. "Where are you going?" "I need to make a call." "It won't take long." 10 minutes, maybe." I felt a small sting of disappointment. It was our wedding night. Couldn't whatever it was wait until morning? But I didn't want to start our marriage by nagging him. So I just nodded and said, "Okay. Don't be long." He kissed my forehead. Not my lips. My forehead. And then he walked out the door. I sat there for a few minutes, looking around the room. The champagne was getting warm. The rose petals were starting to look sad. I decided to take off my wedding dress and put on something more comfortable. I found my phone and called Linda. "Hey, girl," she said. "How's the honeymoon suite?" "It's nice," I said. "But David just left to make a phone call." "He left? On your wedding night?" "It's probably nothing. Work stuff." Linda was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Maggie, I don't want to ruin your night, but something felt off today." "What do you mean?" "I don't know. He just seemed distracted. At the reception, he kept looking at his phone. And when you weren't looking, he looked nervous." I laughed it off. "You're being paranoid. It's a big day. Everyone's nervous." "Maybe," she said. "Just keep your eyes open, okay?" We talked for another 10 minutes. Then I said goodbye, changed into my nightgown, and sat on the bed, waiting. The clock on the nightstand said 10:15. 10:30 came. No David. 11 o'clock. Still no David. I texted him. "Everything okay?" No response. I called him. It went straight to voicemail. By 11:30, I wasn't disappointed anymore. I was angry. And worried. And confused. What kind of man leaves his wife alone on their wedding night? I put on my robe and walked out of the room. The hallway was quiet. Too quiet. I looked left, then right. And that's when I heard it. A woman's laugh. Distant. Muffled. Coming from down the hall to my right. My feet started moving before my brain caught up. I walked slowly, my bare feet silent on the carpet. The laugh came again. Closer this time. And then I heard a man's voice. David's voice. I stopped in front of room 217. The door was closed, but not completely. There was a gap. Just enough for sound to slip through. I pressed my ear against the wood. Is she gone? The woman asked. Yeah, David said. She's in the room. She won't leave. She's too trusting. I felt my stomach drop. My hand started shaking. So what's the plan? The woman asked. We wait until she falls asleep. Then I go back, pretend nothing happened. In the morning, we start phase 2. Phase 2. Making her think she's crazy. Little things. Moving her keys. Hiding her phone. Leaving notes in her handwriting. By the time she figures it out, I'll have access to everything. Her savings. Her house proceeds. Her retirement account. And what do I get? You get me. Isn't that enough? She laughed again. You're terrible. I'm smart, David said. She's 52 in 3 months. She thinks she found love. She's desperate. Women her age will believe anything. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I just stood there, my ear against the door, listening to my husband of 6 hours plan to destroy me. I don't know how I made it back to our room. I don't remember walking. I don't remember opening the door. The next thing I knew, I was sitting on the bathroom floor with my back against the tub, shaking so hard I thought I might fall apart. The champagne was still on the table. The rose petals were still on the bed. Nothing in the room had changed. But everything in my world had shattered. I looked at my wedding ring. That beautiful diamond that had sparkled under the lights just hours ago. Now it felt like a joke. Like a chain around my finger. I asked myself over and over, how did I not see this? How did I miss the signs? But here's the thing about men like David. They don't show you who they are until they think they've trapped you. And he thought he had trapped me. I sat on that bathroom floor for 2 hours. From midnight until 2 in the morning. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, thinking. At 2:15, I heard the door open. I heard David's footsteps. I heard him say, Maggie? You awake? I didn't answer. He came to the bathroom door. He knocked softly. Maggie? You okay in there? I took a deep breath. Then I stood up, opened the door, and looked at him. He had changed his shirt. There was lipstick on his collar. Pink lipstick. My lipstick was red. I'm fine, I said. Just had some stomach issues. Must have been the cake. He smiled. That same smile he had given me at the altar. Poor thing. Come back to bed. I let him lead me to the bed. I let him hold me. I let him kiss my forehead again. And I lay there, staring at the ceiling, pretending to sleep while he snored beside me. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I made a list in my head. Everything I knew about David. Everything he had told me. And everything he had hidden. His accounting firm. His finances. His ex-wife. His children. His friends. I realized I didn't actually know much. I had trusted him. And trust had made me blind. At 5 in the morning, I quietly got out of bed. I took his phone from the nightstand. He had left it unlocked. Careless. Arrogant. He thought I was too stupid to check. I scrolled through his messages. There were hundreds between him and a woman named S. Sarah. That was her name. His business partner. Except they weren't talking about business. I read messages about me. About my money. About my house. About how he couldn't wait to cash out and move to Florida with her. I took screenshots. I sent them to my email. Then I deleted the evidence from his phone and put it back exactly where I found it. At 6 o'clock, I got dressed. David stirred and asked where I was going. I need to get something from the car, I said. Go back to sleep. He did. I walked out of that hotel room and I didn't come back for 3 hours. I sat in my car in the parking lot and I made phone calls. First to Linda. Then to a lawyer I had met years ago through a real estate deal. Then to a private investigator. By 9 in the morning, I had a plan. Revenge isn't about screaming. It isn't about crying. It isn't about throwing his clothes on the lawn or keying his car. That's what women in movies do. Real revenge is quiet. Real revenge is patient. Real revenge looks like nothing is happening while you're moving mountains underground. I went back to the room at 9:30 with a bag of donuts and a smile. Morning, honey, I said. I brought breakfast. David looked relieved. He had probably been worried that I had figured something out. But I played the part perfectly. The doting new wife. The trusting fool. Over the next 3 weeks, I put my plan into motion. First, I called my lawyer. Her name is Deborah. She's 63, divorced twice, and meaner than a cornered cat. I told her everything. She didn't gasp. She didn't say she was sorry. She just said, finally. A woman with a backbone. Deborah helped me freeze my assets. All of them. David had access to nothing. My savings, my retirement, the proceeds from my house sale, all of it went into an account he didn't even know existed. Second, I hired the private investigator. His name is Frank. He's retired FBI. He loves his job a little too much. Within 1 week, he had photos of David and Sarah meeting at a cheap motel. Within 2 weeks, he had records of their phone calls going back 18 months. Within 3 weeks, he had found David's hidden accounts. The money he had been siphoning from his clients. The debts he had been hiding from the IRS. Oh yes. My loving husband wasn't just a cheater. He was a criminal. Third, I started documenting everything. Every lie. Every excuse. Every time he came home late. Every time he smelled like her perfume. I wrote it all down in a little notebook that I kept in my purse. David never suspected a thing. He thought I was still the same trusting woman he married. He thought he was winning. But here's what he didn't know. I wasn't just protecting myself anymore. I was setting a trap. And he was walking right into it. On our 1-month anniversary, David suggested we combine our finances officially. We're married now, he said. It's time to act like it. I smiled. I agree completely. I let him think I was transferring everything into a joint account. What I was actually doing was giving Deborah the final piece of evidence she needed. David had tried to access my money without my permission. That's fraud. The next morning, I woke up early. I made coffee. I sat at the kitchen table. And I waited. David came downstairs at 7:30. He kissed my cheek. He poured himself a cup of coffee. He sat across from me. Everything okay? He asked. You're up early. I couldn't sleep, I said. Too much on my mind. Like what? I looked at him. Really looked at him. The man I had married. The man who had planned to destroy me. Like how someone can look you in the eye and lie, I said. His smile faltered. What are you talking about? I opened my purse. I pulled out Frank's folder. Thick. Heavy. Full of evidence. Sarah, I said. The motel on Route 9. The phone calls. The hidden accounts. The IRS investigation that's about to land on your doorstep. David's face went white. Where did you get that? He whispered. I got it while you were sleeping, I said. While you were cheating. While you were planning to take everything I worked for. He stood up. His chair scraped against the floor. You don't understand. It's not what you think. Don't, I said. My voice was calm. Quiet. Deadly. Don't insult me by lying. I heard you. On our wedding night. I heard everything. David's face crumpled. Not with remorse. With panic. There's a difference. Remorse looks like tears. Panic looks like a trapped animal. You heard, he said. That was just talk. I wasn't serious. Really? So the 18 months of messages were just talk. The embezzlement was just talk. The plan to make me think I was crazy was just talk. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. You have nothing, he said finally. Those photos don't prove anything. They don't have to, I said. The IRS is very interested in your creative accounting. And the bank is very interested in your attempt to access my accounts. And Sarah's husband? He's very interested in those motel receipts. David's eyes went wide. Sarah is married? She didn't tell you? She's been married for 12 years. 2 kids. Nice house in the suburbs. Her husband is a cop. I watched the color drain from his face. It was almost beautiful. The way realization hits. The way hope dies. You're lying, he whispered. Call her, I said, pushing my phone across the table. Go ahead. Ask her if her husband knows. He didn't call. He didn't have to. He could see it in my eyes. I wasn't bluffing. The next hour was chaos. David screamed. He cried. He begged. He told me he loved me. He told me he was sorry. He told me he would change. I sat there, drinking my coffee, watching him fall apart. You can't do this, he said. We're married. What will people think? They'll think I was smart enough to leave a con artist before he destroyed my life. I'll take you for everything you have, he threatened. You can try, I said. But my lawyer is Deborah Hayes. You know her. She represented your ex-wife in your first divorce. She knows exactly how much you're worth. Which is nothing, by the way. Because you spend it all on Sarah. David fell to his knees. Literally. On his knees, on my kitchen floor, begging. Please, Maggie. Please. I'll do anything. I looked down at him. This man I had loved. This man I had trusted. This man who had planned to take my money, my home, my sanity. You should have thought about that before you plotted against me on our wedding night, I said. I stood up. I walked to the door. I opened it. Get out, I said. Where am I supposed to go? Not my problem. He stood up slowly. He grabbed his phone, his wallet, his keys. He looked back at me one more time. His eyes were red. His face was wet. I really did love you, he said. At the beginning. Love doesn't come with a plan to destroy someone, I said. That's called a long con. He walked out the door. I closed it behind him. And then I leaned against it and took the first real breath I had taken in a month. That was 8 months ago. David didn't just lose me. He lost everything. The IRS investigation is ongoing, but he's already been barred from practicing accounting. His firm is bankrupt. Sarah's husband filed for divorce and named David in the papers. It was in the local news for 3 days. I kept the house. I kept my money. I kept my sanity. And me? I'm doing better than I ever expected. I didn't let this break me. I let it change me. There's a difference. I still work in real estate. I still have my friends. I still drink coffee in the morning and watch the sunrise. But I'm different now. Harder, maybe. Wiser, definitely. I learned something from all of this. Something I want every woman over 50 to hear. Just because you're lonely doesn't mean you're desperate. Just because someone says they love you doesn't mean they do. And just because you trusted the wrong person doesn't mean you're foolish. It means they were good at pretending. The best revenge isn't destroying someone else. The best revenge is refusing to let them destroy you. David thought he had found a vulnerable woman he could manipulate. Instead, he found a woman who had spent 46 years building a life he could only dream of. And in the end, I didn't lose anything but a liar. He lost everything. The end.